This morning we were surprised by not one, but two new pieces of media from the official Wheel of Time account. There's a short teaser with a few new shots to unravel, and a new Season 2 scene with Rand and Logain, which I'll show in its entirety and then break down. Also, there are some new Season 2 character bios on the Prime Explore page that I want to dive into. So, like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. This is Unraveling the Pattern. I'm Lauren. This video will contain full show spoilers for the first season of the Wheel of Time, as well as full book spoilers through Book 3, The Dragon Reborn. There will also be moderate spoilers and speculation related to promotional materials for Season 2, including book spoilers for anything past what is shown in Season 1 and these Season 2 promos. I'll also be talking briefly about a scene from Book 6, Lord of Chaos. Nothing that will ruin story or plot details, but as always, if you wish to remain completely spoiler-free, this video might not be for you. Here's the short promotional teaser.
I want to know how to control it.
You have no conception of the power they wield.
I really dig the motion graphics and animation in this teaser. The gold and blue colors and textures and the circular designs really work for me. This is what I do for a living, so I'm always happy to see more motion graphics in promotional materials. We've already seen most of these shots and I've broken them down in other videos, but I'm pretty sure there are 3 new shots that we haven't seen in other promotional materials yet, and possibly 1 or 2 others hidden in the background that are worth pointing out. The biggest and most exciting shot is this one, of Rand channeling. He's surrounded by white flows of the power, tinged with the black corruption from the Dark One. But he has an almost excited or exultant look on his face, which makes me think that Rand might be in control of his channeling at this moment. I'm guessing that one of Rand's major struggles in Season 2 will be about him trying to learn to channel the power and gain some form of control. Perhaps Logain will be helping him with this in some way. More about that in a minute. You'll also notice that Rand is wearing the blue robe that we've seen in other promotional clips, and the background here matches the look of the set that's used in the new Logain clip, which I'll visit in a minute as well. Someone mentioned that the bright white look surrounding Rand could be flows related to Balefire. I like the idea that Rand could be channeling Balefire at this moment, but I have my doubts about this, which I'll get into. There's another new shot of Logain looking a bit sinister. I'm guessing this takes place in the same location and possibly during or near the same scene with Logain and Rand. The only other shots that I think might be new in this short promo clip are harder to see because they're in the background. I believe this shot here is part of the Atuan's Mill scene that we've seen in other promos with Perrin, Loyal, Massima, Uno, and the Shinaran soldiers and random townsfolk being brought before Lady Suroth. It looks like a new shot to me, but I don't see anything else worth pointing out. There are other shots in the background that are very unclear, but I did notice in this shot someone's sleeve on their arm appears to be rippling, as if they're fighting or channeling. And I'm not sure, but does it look like this person has a ponytail and a beard? Could this be the same man that we saw in the trailer here with the flaming sword? The vest makes me think that it could be Perrin's outfit from Season 2, but I'm not sure this is him. And there are other very quick shots that look like scenes with the Shanchan, either in Atuan's Mill or possibly at the Waygate where Egwene and Elaine are seen in the promotional clips. You can see a brief bit of what appears to be an explosion or maybe flows of air here. At first I thought maybe these were fades, but I think these are probably Shanchan's soldiers. This might be Egwene or someone on a horse back here, but it's hard to tell. Did you see anything else in this that I missed? Moving on, before I show this new scene of Logain and Rand, I want to remind everyone that Yosha Stradowski mentioned in a recent interview that Rand will be visiting a sanatorium or a place for mentally ill people in Cairhien in Season 2. He also mentioned in another interview that there will be a 5-month time jump in the show. I think Rand will more or less start the season here. Logain does hint in the dialogue about how months have passed in the clip. I also originally thought that maybe Rand had checked himself into the institution as a patient, but it seems more likely that he's working there, perhaps to care for the other patients as a volunteer. Yosha mentioned in another interview that there's a man named Errol that Rand is helping in the sanatorium. I mentioned more of this in my recent video about interviews and articles that you might want to check out. Anyway, let's watch the clip and then break it down further.
How long are you going to wait?
I'm sorry?
Before you ask me what you want to ask me. A few days? A few weeks?
Must have taken you months to work your way in here.
You're more patient than I am.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't lie to me, boy. I remember you from Tarvalone. You watched those women parade me through the streets like an animal.
You must be confused.
Nah. I can see it. When another man can channel, there's a glow. And yours was brighter than any I've ever seen. I'll never forget looking up and seeing you sitting on that wall. I knew you'd shake the world. Caged as I was, I couldn't help laughing. And here you are now, all these months later, all these miles away. So ask me what you came here for.
I want to know how to control it.
This scene felt to me like it was cut out from a larger scene. I wonder if Rand will start the scene by bringing Logain some food. It also felt to me like it cut off before the scene will actually end. There are hints to more of this scene in the promotional clip, when Rand is channeling and Logain appears to be reacting in some way. I noticed sounds of people screaming in the background. It gave it an eerie sense of being in an asylum with people who are unwell. I wonder how many of the people there are actually men who could or can channel. Anyway, Logain hints that Rand must have spent months working his way into the sanatorium. So again, this seems to imply that Rand is keeping his identity secret and is probably just there helping, rather than as a patient. Yosha did mention in a few interviews that Rand's hair is shaved in an attempt to hide who he truly is. I'm sure having red hair in Cairhien would be suspicious, since the Aiel and Cairhienin have a long and complex history. But maybe he's also trying to hide from Logain, or Moraine, or others. Logain says he remembers seeing Rand in Tar Valon while the Aes Sedai were parading him through the streets, like a caged animal. I remember speculating that this scene of Logain seeing Rand and Mat was reminiscent of the time when Logain saw Rand far away on a wall in Caemlyn in Book 1. I think they intentionally misled us in the show to think that Mat was going insane and seeing things that weren't real, and that Logain wasn't actually even noticing either of them at all, but that it was just Mat's paranoia. I like that they revisited the scene here and clarified why Logain actually reacted in the way that he did. Logain says that he can see when another man can channel. There's a glow, and that Rand's glow was brighter than any he'd ever seen before. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, in the books, women who can channel can see a glow around other women who are channeling only while they're channeling. Men can't, ever. So let's not confuse these two things. I'm pretty sure they're removing this ability to see a glow around another channeling woman in the show. Also, in the books, Logain has a talent which gives him the ability to see ta'veren as if they are glowing, not men who can channel. In the first book, Rand gets up on a wall far away and sees Logain being paraded through the streets in Caemlyn, not Tar Valon. He sees Logain laughing maniacally from his cage at a great distance. Later, Logain talks about this experience with Nynaeve in chapter 30 of book 6, Lord of Chaos. Logain's dialogue in the book is almost identical to this scene, but the context is very different. In the book, Logain tells Nynaeve, "You know, I saw a man once who will cause more trouble than I ever did. Maybe it was the Dragon Reborn, I don't know. It was when they took me through Caemlyn after I was captured. He was far away, but I saw a glow and knew he'd shake the world. Caged as I was, I couldn't help laughing."
I'll never forget looking up and seeing you sitting on that wall. I knew you'd shake the world. Caged as I was, I couldn't help laughing.
So they've obviously kept some of the dialogue, but also changed some things. According to this scene, in the show, Logain's talent is that he can see men who can channel as if they're glowing, even if they're not currently channeling the power, and even though he has been gentled. In the books, Logain and Swan share the talent of seeing ta'veren glowing, but I'm pretty sure that the talent no longer works when Logain is gentled. Obviously, this is different in the show. What's curious to me about this scene is that Logain implies that he still has the talent. He says, "I can see it. When another man can channel, there's a glow." But then he says to Rand, "Yours was brighter than any I've ever seen." I wonder why he didn't say yours is brighter. The way Logain looks at Rand in this scene almost makes me think that he still sees the glow around Rand. Anyway, Rand finally says to Logain, "I want to know how to control it." And then Logain does this awesome little twitch, and then he smiles and the scene ends abruptly. Like I say, I'm guessing there's more to the scene. I'm pretty sure Logain will give Rand some tips, and then Rand will attempt to channel and will succeed in gaining some control at this moment. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Logain is responding to here. If he can't channel himself, perhaps he can live vicariously through Rand at this moment. Because of this, I don't think Rand will be weaving balefire, because I think he's just learning to properly seize Saidin. Now, maybe he'll start with some control and then he'll lose control or something. It could be interesting if Rand causes some trouble here, loses control, maybe channels through a wall, and perhaps gives Logain a chance to escape or something. Anyway, whatever you think about the choice to put Rand and Logain in this situation, I like that we'll be getting these kinds of moments. Rand needs to be taught things about the One Power, and so does the audience. I'm excited that all of the promotional clips and trailers we've seen so far seem to imply that we'll be learning more about channeling the power through the eyes of Rand in Cairhien and from Egwene and Nynaeve in Tar Valon. What do you think about the new clip? One last thing, the Prime app Explore section was updated with a few new character bios and a Season 1 recap. I'm actually working on a big Season 1 recap video right now, which I hope to have done this week, but let's briefly discuss these character bios. A few things of note. Moraine's bio mentions that she is cut off from the One Power, and not that she's stilled or shielded, so it's still intentionally vague. Rand's bio mentions that he's the most powerful channeler in the world. I've heard this phrase multiple times in interviews and promos, so it looks like they're really pushing this idea. I think it's a bit odd that Lan is called Moraine's first and only warder, but I won't say anything more about that right now. It looks like Rand's friends definitely think he's dead, which was basically confirmed from different interviews and articles. It also confirms that Egwene and Nynaeve will be going to the tower to be trained, and that Nynaeve is there for Egwene. It's interesting that Perrin's bio mentions that he wants to take revenge on Padan Fain. I look forward to how this will be resolved in upcoming seasons. I'm actually glad that Mat still feels the Shatter Logoth dagger calling to him. I was hoping that this wasn't fully resolved, and we've seen a shot of Mat being tempted by the dagger from the trailer. I'm hopeful that we'll get to learn how Padan Fain came across the dagger before the events of the Season 1 finale. We learn about a new character, Elaine, and that she's the daughter heir of Andor and will become friends with Egwene in the tower. Leandrin's bio doesn't really have much new about it, but I like that she's interested in Nynaeve's power. Avienda is another new character, who is an Aiel Maiden of the Spear, who is searching for the prophesied Karakarn, or Chief of Chiefs. I can't wait to see more of Avienda and the Aiel fighting style in the show. Selene is another new character who is supposedly an innkeeper in the Foregate, the poorest part of Cairhien. This is obviously a big change from the books, and I won't spoil anything here, but I'm looking forward to seeing how her no-strings-attached relationship with Rand turns out. They seem to have made a lot of changes to Min's character compared to the books, but I'm just glad that she appears to be a bigger part of Season 2. I'm hopeful that she and Mat will be teaming up for part of the season. It's interesting to me that Suroth is called the Lady Suroth and not the High Lady Suroth. I wonder if we'll see her promotion at some point in the show. And finally, to me, the most intriguing bio is this one of the man who the audience was led to believe was the Dark One in Season 1. Book readers have known since the beginning that this is Ishamael and not the Dark One, but it was intentionally vague in Season 1. Well, now I think it's very clear that they want everyone to know right out of the gate that he is not the Dark One. I'll talk more about Ishamael's identity in my Season 2, Episode 1 breakdown. But there are two other things I wanted to point out about his bio. First, it mentions the first dragon. I wonder if this is a bit of a retcon from the finale cold open in Season 1, where Latra Posay called Lews Therin the Dragon Reborn. I and some others felt this was an oversimplified line meant for non-readers that confused things more than it clarified. I personally don't care that much that Lews Therin was called the Dragon Reborn instead of just the dragon, but I would like it if they retconned this idea. Anyway, this could just be a marketing thing, but I like that Lews Therin is referred to as the first dragon in this. But more interestingly, it says that the Forsaken are powerful channelers who swore themselves to the Dark One and who were imprisoned by the dragon in seals of the One Power. Does this mean that our theories and speculation about there being one seal for each of the Forsaken is true? I have a lot more to say about this, but I've already speculated and theorized about this a bunch, and it has a lot of potential book spoilers, so I'll just say, go and watch my Forsaken Theories breakdown of the cold open scene with Ishamael and the seals. I talk in great depth about the Forsaken and the seals there. And that's everything for now. I wonder if we'll get more promotional material this week on What Wednesday. It feels to me like we might be either getting information about the music soundtrack or possibly one more trailer. If we do get a trailer, I'll be sure to break it down in the coming days. Thanks as always to my supporters, and thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, let the dragon ride again on the winds of Prime.